Okay, it's 5 o'clock. Call the meeting to order, please, with a roll call.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Legislator Frost,
Here.
Legislator Calamus,
Here.
Legislator Mosier. Here. Legislator Leindecker,
Here.
Legislator Nortz,
Here.
Legislator Hanno,
Here.
Legislator Leviker,
Here.
Legislator Osborne,
Here.
Legislator Nellenbach,
Here.
Legislator Dahlhoff.
Here. Everyone, please stand for the pledge and invocation, and Legislator Kalmus will lead us in the invocation, please.
Good and gracious God, we thank you for all the blessings you've bestowed on all of us here. Lord, you know what's on the heart of everyone here. Help us always to have a spirit of gratitude and to seek your guidance and in your wisdom in all our decisions. We ask this in your name. Amen.
Amen. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. The January 6, 2026 minutes have been distributed and stand approved if there are no corrections. Tonight, we have no proclamations or recognitions. We'll move to public hearing, which we have one on the adoption of a new short environmental assessment form for unlisted actions related to agricultural districts in Lewis County and a seeker cooperative agreement with New York State Department of Agriculture and Markets for the Lewis County Agricultural District Program. Is there anyone here that would like to make any comments on that public hearing? See no interest. We'll leave that open for a few minutes. And we'll move to report of the Finance and Rules Committee per Rule 6, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The Finance and Rules Committee has met and they recommend to waive rules to act upon late resolutions.
Need a motion? Jessica, second by Herb. Any discussion? All in favor? Anyone opposed? That stands approved. We have no presentations. So next is privilege of the floor. I understand Arlene Hall is here from the Lewis County Historical Society that would like to make some comments.
Good evening to you all. Thank you, Mr. Chairman, for this time. I'm here as a member of the Board of Directors of the Lewis County Historical Society, and each year we publish a journal, and Cassandra, helped to pass those out to each of you, and so you have that before you. I'd like you to know that this publication has been we have done this since the mid-1960s. And it is always done by a group of volunteers. You see on the inside cover about 6 or 7 members that are part of this committee. They are from members of our board as well as the community at large and people that are members. This is a labor of love. It is done by all volunteers. Easily, we have about 500 hours of donated time that goes into this. And that does not count all of the research time that various people have done in creating these articles. And they run the gamut. Every issue is different, but we do focus on the county, of course, and different issues. So this issue has some information about the old Greystone Manor, which served during World War I, is a home for Canadian soldiers. There's Civil War story in here and several other stories that I think you might find interesting. I know you have a plethora of information to read all the time, but we hope that this will be a little bit of background about your counties and your constituents, and you may recognize some of the names of the authors. The cover is made by a professional artist, graphic artist. His name is John Ashton Golden. John was a graduate of Loudville Academy and Central School, and his dad is also very much involved on that committee, and he helps us, and he looks over what the articles are and then compiles what the cover is there. This particular issue is devoted to Leslie Safford. Leslie died unexpectedly this past summer. She was a gem as a contributor, brought a lot of good publication background with her. So, and also the inside back cover carries some information about our concert series that we hold every winter. And this is a good winter to be out and enjoying a concert on a Saturday night. So I thank you all. I also say on behalf of all of us on the board, we are so grateful, and we thank all of you for including us in the budget. That is very important to us. And we do encourage you to come and stop by and visit, see the resource room that we operate as part of our work, as we receive funding for that from you in our role as county historian. So I thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good luck to you all this year. The year is still new. May your challenges be easy.
Thank you, Arlene. Clerk of the board report, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I have received 3 applications for corrected tax rolls. The first 2 are for property in the town of Lewis, and the third is for property in the town of Pinckney. All 3 of these applications were approved by Candy Aiken, Real Property Tax Director, and Eric Verkler, County Treasurer. I received 2025 annual reports from the following departments: Board of Elections, Buildings and Grounds, Codes, Community Services, County Clerk, Emergency Management, Highway, Information Technology, Office for the Aging, Planning and Community Development, Probation, Public Health, Purchasing, Real Property Tax, Recreation, Forestry and Parks, Social Services, Solid Waste, Treasurer's Office, and Workers' Compensation. Just a reminder to legislators that the annual snowmobile ride is this Friday, February 6th, beginning at Snow Ridge. And that concludes my report.
Thank you. Standing committee reports. We'll start with General Services Committee with Legislator Leviker.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The Lewis County snowmobile trails have seen very good trail conditions with solid snow coverage and regular grooming reported across multiple areas as of late January 2026. All 9 clubs in Lewis County are 100% volunteer organizations, and they groom 7 days a week to maintain the 516 miles of active trails. Riders have enjoyed mid-season prime conditions after a significant snowfall around January 28th, boosting snow depths to roughly 24 to 48 inches in many sections of the trail. High Markets reported 185 inches, and Worth, just on our western side of the county, has reported 250 inches. The trail counter on Flat Rock Road peaked in December, on December 27th, with a count of 1,700 sleds, which equates to 1 sled every minute in a 24-hour time frame. Reminder, before heading out, make sure your snowmobile is properly registered and insured under New York State requirements, and check the latest official club trail reports for updated trail openings, hazards, or reroutes to ensure a safe ride. In addition, please look to download the NYSA Trail app for $5, as this is updated daily by all 220 clubs in the state, not just in Lewis County, and it'll indicate current and timely hour-by-hour trail conditions for opening and closures. And that's all I have.
Any questions for Josh? Thank you, Josh. Health and Human Services with Legislator Kalmus.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Lewis County Department of Social Services is processing multiple child care assistant applications from the waiting list, expecting to be cleared within 30 days. Applications are available on the Lewis County DSS website. Families are encouraged to apply. The Lewis County Warming Center is open for the 2025-2026 season, running nightly from 7 p.m. to 7 a.m. through April 30th at 5499 Jackson Street, Lowville, to provide shelter to those in need during the cold weather. The Office of the Aging accepting nominations for the Randy Streeter Older Adult of the Year Award now through early March. Details can be found on the county website. That's the end of my report.
Any questions for Tom? Thank you, Tom. Finance and Rules with Legislator Moser.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The Planning and Community Development Department is assisting 2024 flood-impacted municipalities with final engineering and documentation for FEMA permanent project submissions, as well as reimbursement documentation for completed temporary work. The Lewis County Assessors Association will be conducting 5 workshops for the senior citizens exemption throughout February at various locations within the county. These workshops are designated to assist seniors with completing exemption renewal forms and applying for new exemptions. These sessions do not require appointments, and seniors are welcome to attend any location irrespective of their town of residence. Details, including dates and times, are available on the county's webpage, Facebook page, and linking Lewis County. Additionally, a representative from the Office of Aging will be present at each event to discuss available programs and services for seniors. And that's all I have, Mr. Chairman.
Any questions for Jess? Thank you. Reports of special committees. We'll start with Adirondack Local Government Review Board with Legislator Kalmus.
You better be. This will be less than 45 minutes. Okay, Tom? 45, okay.
Am I in the way?
No. The Adirondack Park Local Government Review Board, I'm just going to cover very quickly what it is, what they do. Purpose of the board, it's 53 years old. It acts as an advisory voice for local governments within the park. It ensures local perspectives are considered in APA decisions, balances economic protection, economic development, land use, and property rights, and serves as a liaison to understand, so the APA understands the impacts of their regulations. The government leadership is Gerald Delaney from Clinton County, Brian McDonald from Franklin County, Carrie Tuttle from St. Lawrence County, and Pamela Howard from Hamilton County. Board members, it's very diverse. There's 12 counties, includes town supervisors, town board members, legislator, county supervisors. So it's the grassroots that are on this board. The park agency, executive director Barbara Rice, chair is Mark Hall. He was just nominated as chair this year. He is a St. Lawrence County native, and he also was a St. Lawrence County supervisor. So he's a local person that's on the board. Where do we stand in it? We stand in it from town of Diana all the way to Lionsdale, a sliver, about 164,000 acres. 61,000 is state land, wilderness. 92% of that's forest, and there's 102,000 of private land. So all the park in Lewis County is made up of 62% of private land. And 20% of Lewis County falls within the park. And that's a breakout of each township. So for example, Watson, 74% of its town falls into the Adirondack Park. Diana, 19% of its town falls in. So that's kind of a geographic look of where the park sits. Recent activities, 2025 Saranac Lake, Legislator Frost went with me. Tim couldn't make it, but we had a roundtable of all local people within the park with Secretary of State Walter Mosley, the APA Director Barbara Rice, DC Commissioner Amanda Lofton, and we talked through topics from water, sewer, infrastructure, roads, cell coverage, EMS, housing, renewable energy along the side of the park. We had another meeting with Amanda Lefton, the DC Commissioner up to Long Lake. Tim voiced the concerns of NIPA, battery storage and all that with the commissioner. And Dank is trying to improve the EMS communications in Franklin and Hamilton counties. They have a lot of dead spots where they have towers, so they're trying to get fiber optics in between it. So this board is trying to help push that through with the APA. And that's a quick overview. So Lewis County has about 20% in the park. Any questions? Thank you.
Thank you, Tom. Interesting. Hospital Board of Managers with Legislator Nortz.
That's kind of hard to follow after something like that. Any information about the hospital we have included in your packet this week? If there's any questions, I'll take them afterwards. Also, too, with the advocate drum, just a little update. I had correspondence with Tiffany. Rider numbers are up on post. Is that for me? Rider numbers are up on post. There were a few hitches this year. The cold weather wailed on the buses pretty bad, but they worked their way around it. Also, too, they're setting up 2 dining sites on post, so there's another logistical problem of setting the bus runs up. Jefferson County has finally followed our lead for a change, and they're setting up a public bus program in Jefferson County. They haven't had one up to this point. Right now, they're trying to integrate their bus schedule with what we have on post. And that's a big kudo to our planning department to be ahead of Jefferson County. Seems good. Also, too, they're in discussions. We're working on a resolution about the miniature atomic generator for Drum and Next Move New York. Hopefully, we'll have them in here. Next Move New York is a program set up by New York State to encourage GIs as they leave the service to stay in the area and work. So hopefully that's a force that we can tap into and help us as we develop in the future. That's my report, Mr. Chairman.
Any questions for Vinny? Thank you. We do not have a county manager report, and we do not have a treasurer report. So before we get into resolutions, I'll back up to the public hearing on the short environmental assessment for agricultural district in Lewis County. Is there anyone here that would like to comment on that subject? I don't see any interest, so I will close that public hearing at this point and move to report of the Finance and Rules Committee per Rule 7, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The Finance and Rules Committee reports that they have examined the claims presented for payment in the total amount of $2,787,028.21 and recommend that they be audited and allowed for the amounts claimed.
Someone like to move that? Josh, do I have a second? Vince? Any discussion? All
I
in
just
favor?
have one question. JCC Building 2026 Mechanical Service Agreement. We're paying 21,000. If we're selling that, shouldn't that be split between us, between BOCES and us?
Well, that's a good question, Barry. I don't have an answer for you, and our supervisor, Matt O'Connor, is not here, so we'll get an answer for you when, oh, there he is, hiding behind Anna, sorry.
So we can look into that. That contract was put in place before the decision was made to do the swap. So it was, because that contract was done 2 years ago.
Well, we can
I'm
break
sure we
it
can,
down at time of sale.
I'm sure that we can, look into farther talking with BOCES about it.
Thank you, Matt.
Mr. Chairperson, I also have to recuse myself based on payments made to myself as the assigned council administrator and also based on vouchers that I approved.
Please note that in the record. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Carries. Resolutions, we are pulling number 13, number 34, 38, 40, and 54, which is a late resolution. Are there any others that anyone would like to pull on and vote on individually?
Mr. Chairman, number 38 does not need to be pulled.
Okay. Okay, if there's no comments or any additional ones, would someone like to make a motion to move the consent resolutions forward? Jessica, I have a second. Tom Kalmus, any discussion? All in favor? Anyone opposed? The packet of consent resolutions carries, and we'll move back to resolution 13.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The resolution number 13 is auditing and allowing claims in the amount of $2,787,028.21.
Someone like to move it? Tom Osborne, second. Herb, any discussion?
Mr. Chairperson, I just have to renew my recusal based on payments made to myself and upon vouchers I approved.
Please note that in the record, and this is a roll call.
Legislator Mosier has recused. Legislator Nortz,
Yes.
Legislator Lindecker,
Yes.
Legislator Frost,
Yes.
Legislator Leviker,
Yes.
Legislator Hanno,
Yes.
Legislator Nellenbach,
Yes.
Legislator Osborne,
Yes.
Legislator Calamus,
Yes.
and Legislator Dahlhoff.
Yes. That carries.
The next one is resolution number 30, and this is a resolution authorizing applications, professional service agreement, and awards if granted by the Planning and Community Development Department for Transportation Alternatives Program funding.
Someone like to move it, please? Herb, second by Jessica. Discussion.
My concern is just the 20% matching. If we keep taking it out of the CHIPS program, how are we gonna keep fixing our roads?
Cass, would you like to take that one, please?
So the maximum we can apply for is $7 million. And John, correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like all three communities will probably end up around being $5 million. And you can see that there's other grant funds in this packet that we're looking to layer into that particular TAP program. So in no way, shape, or form would we want to jeopardize poor John's CHIPS funding over there, but this funding would make it possible for us to layer and complete 3 county infrastructure projects all at once, which would save him over $5 million worth of chips. So rest assured, I wouldn't move on with anything without John's consent on that one. But we are looking to layer so that it decreases that match to the lowest possible point. Any other questions?
Thanks.
Certainly.
I will just say that. I will say that a lot of these villages and stuff, the infrastructure has failing. It needs to be replaced. The drainages are all plugged. They've been plugged for many years. This funding has to happen or it's only going to get worse. And paying the 20% is minimal cost compared to what it could be if we don't accept this funding. Thank you.
John. Any other comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Resolution carries.
The next resolution is number 34, authorizing amendment to intermunicipal agreement between Lewis County and the town of New Bremen for reimbursement of emergency repair services due from 2024 flooding.
Someone like to move it? Vince, second by Jess. Discussion.
I just wondering if there was a legal way that we could help them with this.
We have looked and we have not been able to find any legal way of helping. We will continue to look, but as far as I am aware, there is no legal way to provide them any help.
You can't loan them the money?
I don't,
You can't do that. No.
I would say that at this point that the county, in this case or in any case with any of our towns, we bend over backwards trying to help them, and we would love to do so in this case, but just haven't been able to identify a way to make that happen. Cass, do you want?
If I could, can I clarify
Sure.
with this resolution? So I just want to clarify that this resolution is amending the existing IMA that we have with the town of New Bremen, which we also had with several of the other municipalities and nonprofits. When we initiated the help with Grace has been spending a tremendous amount of her time helping every single municipality that it had damage, school districts and nonprofits. I think we even helped the church down the road. We entered into an IMA at the beginning of this process for the engineering, where it clearly stated that the towns would and villages would pay back the county for the engineering because we were going to streamline the process for them. We were going to help them with the admin to get that done. This was an extraordinary circumstance where we had accumulated over $171,000. This is where we stopped. But we accumulated over $171,000 in labor and materials. And without working with the town and billing that back, they would not get reimbursed, nor would the county get reimbursed for that. So I just want to make clear that I think that that's a separate conversation, Barry, but certainly something that we can work on discussing. But this is just to bill the town of New Bremen so that they can pay us and then submit for reimbursement. That's essentially what this is, but we're always open to, we've been trying to help in any instance to make it as easy as possible in the town of New Bremen. And the conversations that I've had with Grace and John, they've both been working their butts off to help and plug holes and fill in gaps wherever they can with this project. So from my perspective, this is, and I believe that the town of New Bremen has already agreed to push through with this portion of it, but I understand that I'm in belief that that's separate from this resolution.
Mr. Chairman. Now, are there any other towns? This is New Bremen. Is this going to pop up with any other IMAs that we have with other townships?
We had, and correct me if I'm wrong, John, but this was the most significant amount that we had materials and labor. And like I said, this wasn't even the cap. I think it ended up being the last number that we got maybe a couple weeks ago it was really at like the 213,000, but we had capped it at 171. But the other municipalities didn't even come close to the labor and materials that were needed. But like I said, all municipalities that we helped with engineering, we had IMAs with all of them, that would be, the agreement is that they would work towards fulfilling that funds that the county had spent back.
Okay, well, fill me in. Now, since we had IMAs with all of them, that qualifies them for FEMA reimbursement?
We have to have agreements between the municipalities, and the agreements have to state that there will be costs associated with the services. And then if those IMAs are in place and those reimbursements are had, there needs to be documentation showing that. That's when they can send that reimbursement in with the FEMA reimbursement requests. But without all of this documentation, that's a requirement.
Right. Is there a time frame on this? Does this have to be done today?
We are looking to get it done ASAP so we can get those
so we can get the final projects in the works.
All right, well, I guess my question is, we submitted to New Bremen. Does New Bremen have a timeline to pay us back?
The sooner they pay us back, the sooner they can submit for reimbursement.
Right, but I'm just saying, whether this is open-ended,
Uh,
or are we going to say,
I
here's
would hope that
171?
it wouldn't be open-ended for New Bremen. We are assisting them. We will be assisting them with the submission to FEMA as soon as they can get all the documentation together so that it will be reimbursed.
Right,
But the sooner we get this in the works, the better. And I will say that New Bremen has already given the authorization to sign this IMA.
All right, I just don't want to see a line drawn in the sand where New
I
Bremen's
agree.
left holding
I
the
agree.
bag on that.
Nobody wants that for them.
Okay,
I agree.
thank you.
So Vinny and John, you can correct me on this, but I believe part of this is 2 Bailey bridges that are on loan from the state that are, they need to go back at the end of summer, I believe.
So the state is requesting that those bridges be returned back to them, as they just let the town of New Bremen use them to get through the winter. They actually requested them to be back in December of last year, and they said if the town of New Bremen doesn't choose to return them, then they have to buy them 2 new ones to replace those ones. So the funding, as far as the FEMA funding that we're requesting, and I'm not sure if you misunderstood, but we have to turn an invoice into the town of New Bremen for them to turn it into FEMA. FEMA will reimburse the town. The town then can reimburse themselves because of them reimbursing us for the work that we've done.
So the cost of removing those bridges will fall on the town of New Bremen. We will do the work for the town of New Bremen, or town of New Bremen will do?
So I talked to the engineering firm, which is B&L, is who they chose. I told B&L to include the cost to remove the bridges in the engineering of the new bridges, include that in, so then FEMA will pay for that as well too. And to return them to the state of New York in the order that we received them.
So that kind of puts a timeline on it for you, so. Any other comments, questions? All in favor? Anyone opposed? Carries.
The next one is resolution number 40, is a resolution affirming continued support for the facade and streetscape improvement program and acknowledging the use of rollover budgeted and ARPA funds.
So Herb, moved by Herb, second by Jessica. Discussion.
What's the rollover amount? Was it 25? It was a small amount, wasn't it?
So every year we've rolled over because maybe they don't fulfill what our contract has said, because Megan keeps very close tabs on what they have signed up for and what they're expected to do with that funding. So for example, if a project, they may have even completed the project, but if they didn't follow, they didn't get the right code permit, we don't reimburse them. That rolls over into the next year's pot. That's how we've been able to do it for so many years, because the initial thought is we'd only be able to fund 2 years with the ARPA funds. But because we were able to roll over and recycle those funds, we've been able to do subsequent years just by making sure that we're holding people accountable for the grants that they receive from the county. But this year, the last round is round 5, and that's only $100,000, where in the past it's been $200,000 to $250,000. But that's all leftover money from ARPA and the 2023 or 2024 budget.
Now,
Yep.
doesn't the ARPA money have to be spent by the end of this year?
Exactly, which is why we're using up the balance of the rollover funds. There are some budgeted funds mixed in there from when it was approved in 2023 for our 2024 budget, but they will be all used up by this time, which is what Eric really needs us to do, because we've already committed to that. December 31st, 2026 is the last day that we can have ARPA funds usable.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thanks, Cass. Anything else? All in favor? Anyone opposed? Resolution carries.
The last one is Resolution 54, which is the late resolution, and that is authorizing Lewis County to apply for 2026 Northern Border Regional Commission Timber for Transit funding to complete a feasibility study for bridge replacement on Moose River Road extension.
Someone like to move it, please? Moved by Jeff. Do I have a second? Herb? Discussion. So this is a late resolution because John just got notification that the funding was out there, but the application needs to be in on February 26th. So it's 20 what? 27. So the resolution is in front of us today because obviously the next board meeting is not until March. We missed the application deadline, and so therefore we wouldn't be able to look for the funding. So that's why it's a late resolution. Go ahead, John.
Next time, sit closer.
So this bridge has been talked about since, well, for over 30 years. The load posting is at 3 ton as of right now. If it gets lowered any more than 3 ton, the bridge is closed. So there's property owners on the other side of the Moose River that request something be done to this bridge every year to multiple superintendents in the past. And it was just brought to my attention last week that this funding become available. And so I sat through a webinar, and it is going to hopefully fit the needs that we've been looking for all these years to get this project done. So there is a 20% match to this funding, but if it goes any lower, then the bridge is closed, and then, you know, the county could have to pay for the whole thing ourselves. So we need to go after this funding.
Do people live on the other side of the bridge? How,
They utilize it throughout the year, their camps and stuff.
I thought there was only 2 landowners on the other side.
There are several landowners. There's one big one
A big timber company.
that
and
actually
John.
owns the land that abuts the bridge itself. I think he's got somewhere around 1,000 acres there,
Yeah.
and he continually logs it.
Yeah.
But he has to drive all the way out to the Fowlerville Road to get out
Yeah.
because this road is, or this bridge is not posted high enough for a log truck. And the other one is a seasonal camp that's right there on the other side. It was an old depot. At one point, there was a railroad that went through there, I guess. So, but there are several landowners back there that would utilize it if for logging in particular, if the bridge was available for that.
It states up to $1 million. Is there a dollar amount that's there already that's not going to go to $1 million? Maybe a lot less, considerably less?
I think we've already done some of the engineering on this. No? Okay. But I can't believe that the study would go to $1 million. But it's just that that's the available money for the grant. John, you need to sit closer.
So the feasibility study is up to $1 million, and then the implementation is up to $5 million. We won't reach neither one of those.
Does the feasibility study include engineering?
Not for construction, no.
All good? All in favor? Anyone opposed? Show Mike and Barry opposed, and the resolution carries. That is the end of the resolutions. Do we have any other business? Seeing nothing, we don't need an executive session, I don't believe. No other business. Motion to adjourn. Jeff, second by Mike. All in favor? Anyone opposed? Anyone like to stay? We're adjourned.